Pornstars of Reddit, what do you consider a bad day at work? Only 250 comments? Most of them boring? This thread needs a fluffer. I reckon it's just like any other low-budget film, stuff breaks and you have to wait. Some idiot doesn't show up on time and you have to wait. Some idiot didn't charge the batteries and you have to wait. Divas who throw a fit because they didn't prepare before their call and they need to get into character in order to deliver their 5 lines, which means you have to wait. Some Kubrick wannabe wants to do a shot over and over and over and you have to wait. Basically anything that could turn a 7-hour day into a 14-hour day, and 8 of those hours are waiting for people to fix problems that wouldn't be problems if more people had the ability to plan ahead. But, you know, with more naked people. I'm not personally an adult entertainer, but I've worked in that industry on occasion. You've more or less hit the nail on the head, but there are some pornography-specific details that crop up from time to time. The most common issue, at least in my experience, has to do with rearranging the lights. The sets are usually quite small, which means that it's frustratingly easy to cast unwanted shadows. And it's also surprisingly difficult to find places where cameras can comfortably fit. The process of moving to a new angle can sometimes involve adjusting literally all of the equipment, with half of that equipment consisting of stands and structures that are better suited to significantly larger spaces. Makeup can also a bit of an irritant, and I don't just mean to individuals with sensitive skin. The performers frequently need touch-ups between shots, but being in close proximity to other people, while essentially working out beneath those aforementioned lights, has a tendency to make folks sweat. There are some products which mitigate that a little bit, but it's often easier to completely remove and then reapply any cosmetics. That takes time, and it's time during which the crew is standing around with their armpits growing damp. Following from the sweating issue, dehydration can get to be a bit of a hazard, if you take my meaning. Water and lubricant are always in generous supply, but they don't completely solve the underlying problem. Without going into too much detail, let's just say that certain portions of a person's anatomy can start to look less camera-ready after a while, meaning that close-up shots need to be captured before too much action has taken place. Finally, some performers bring chaperones. That's fine, it's even tacitly encouraged, especially during lower-budget shoots, but those same chaperones occasionally get it into their heads that they should contribute in some way. More often than not, they want to offer unrequested advice. But there's always a countdown to the first joke about jumping into the scene. I'm really pleased that you could effectively tell me if I'm dehydrated or not by looking at my scrotum. Underappreciated life skill. Maybe try r/sex workers. When the actress does not turn you on. When the set crew are being cancer. When the script is cringe AF or way too taboo for you waiting. OMG WTF is she doing in there? Usually drugs. Or the director, anything involving a vagina. It's like you've been waiting 6 years to make this comment. When I have to do a scene with a woman whose breasts don't sag at all and she has tight skin. Username definitely checks out. Accidentally giving the cameraman a facial. You are that bald dude from that gif. Buttercup playing in the background. Surprise anal scene with Mandingo? Overhead on the set once. What is the difference between ooh and ah? 2 inches. Getting hard and coming on command are a bitch. Now here is a thread in want of a serious tag. Nah. I've seen that before and you don't want to read the serious answers to a question like this, when I am told to penetrate the same hole with another dude at the same time. Yeah, that's my jam. Many usernames checking out today. ITT no porn stars showing up for sex scene with the women, and there are 4 other guys there too. I once starred in a few porn films. Won't go into any details that can be incriminating, but one pet peeve for me was my co-stars waiting to properly prep before the shoot. I'm bisexual, so that means ass play. Waiting before the shoot ruins the mood for everyone in an already artificial act. No one likes to feel cold water drip from your ass. Another thing that made it a bad day was the extra attempting to showcase their talents. As an extra you don't really get lines, just basic stage direction and a way to exit the scene. However, during some scenes where you have, insert here, walking in on the act of their, insert here, mid-intercourse, you should react accordingly. Just a quick OMG then run out. Not screaming and making up lines that ruin the scene, making us have to reshoot. You can only fuck X number of times before even you can't pretend anymore. When they paid me 1/4 of the salary I'm supposed to have and made me sacrifice more money, time, effort to work for that. I mean FCK their money I can earn at any time. They can't pay me for my time. Once I lost it, it won't come back anymore no matter what I do and earn in life. I mean, don't porn stars have a lot of time on their hands? It's not like they clock in 8 hours 5 days a week. Can't imagine they often say let me check my schedule. It all depends upon the actor, their agent, and how hot they are. Trendy/famous porn stars have busy schedules full of special appearances, strip clubs, sex pose, AVN awards, conventions, signings, etc., photo shoots, video shoots for multiple companies, and the average shoot is 5 to 8 hours, party hosting, and marketing. Multiply that if they choose to write a book, do a documentary, or pick up directing on the side. Amateur-level actors can experience the same thing, as studios like to try to promote new and promising stars since faces fade fast in the industry. DIY/independent models, like me, still try to fill airtime with marketing, networking, and filming/producing in order to promote themselves so that they can make money. Regardless, nobody likes having their time wasted or not being compensated for the work they do. Having to work while sick. It's rough no matter what job, but certain scenes are difficult and uncomfortable to shoot when you have diarrhea, bubble guts, muscle aches, and all kinds of sinus and chest congestion. Probably when their boss is being really anal. Breaking your dick is for sure a bad day. And now I need to bleach my brain. R/I bleach. When you're trying to look excited while inserting your fallows into your co-star, and then director comes up and tickles your testicles from behind. That happened to me once, but I was working at a McDonald's. My condolences. There's an awful lot of sex trafficking in porn. Girls are beaten/raped/threatened and told if they don't smile and show the camera you enjoy it. Many of the girls come out of those situations elsewhere and into porn because that's their value, and are taken advantage of rather than given help. And many like their job and are safe and sensible. But there's a whole lot of forced sex in porn, also known as rape. But she smiled. You have any statistics to back up those claims? It's hard to find accurate statistics, because the porn industry is fairly unregulated and not well studied. The websites that offer statistics and studies on porn have religious or political bias, groups such as Focus on the Family and The New Drug, and can't be seen as valid as they're vehemently anti-porn under any means. That being said, it's not uncommon knowledge that sex trafficking and rape are involved in porn. It's not as huge a part as anti-porn groups/individuals would like you to believe, but it is there. Linda Lovelace's story is probably the most notorious and mainstream story you can find. The facial abuse /com guys have routinely broken contracts, performing acts on actresses that were not laid out in writing or previously discussed. You can also see them in their videos verbally, physically, and sexually abusing actresses and denying them breaks. James Dean turned out to be a rapist. Multiple partners, wife and girlfriends, and co-stars have noted that he ignores safe words and keeps going. Beyond that, there are countless anecdotes from former porn stars and models discussing verbal/physical violence in the industry, as well as the prevalent practice of directors giving models drugs and alcohol. Even more so in gay porn. The industry is, however, slowly moving towards the consent is sexy, sex-positive route. Kink/com being one of my favorites, they practice the mantra of safe, sane, and consensual, of female directors and higher-ups, and have staff that check in with models during shoots and teach both parties how to kink safely. I wouldn't consider myself a star by any means, but I've had some success selling porn on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and a ton of successful cam shows with much more successful friends. The first three areas are no big deal usually. You can't really have a bad day since usually it's pre-recorded, and in my case either with a friend we can reschedule easily. Live cam shows though can be kind of a nightmare. You know those days where you just aren't in the mood? It's way worse in porn live. I've had a few days I'd wake up with a scheduled show that night and have horrible cramps all day. If it was just a recording session with one of my girlfriends I'd just call her up and reschedule. Days where I know an orgasm is going to be a little painful. You just need to power through it though if you've already committed to a live show. The people watching want close-ups of the contractions and squirting, so you just kinda suck up the pain. That being said, the good days are really exciting. I love acting and love the girls I work with regularly. When you don't need to act at all because the chemistry is just there, it's the best. Ex-hooker here. Come up the nose. Just, no. I had a 6 AM booking, took a poorly aimed load to the nostril, then had to go to my 9 to 5 desk gig. Just awful. I am impressed that you work a 9 to 5 and side work. When the horse thrusts you too hard and you fall down. Apologies, former signed porn star. Honestly? What boils down to basically sexual assault. I've been lied to about the content of a scene prior to filming in order to make my reaction more authentic for hardcore degradation scenes with content well outside the job description. Like I'm talking hired for a simple PIV scene that turned out to be intense choking, slapping, water sports. Sure, you can technically call it off at any point. But good luck getting more work after that. The porn industry desperately needs unions. You really put up with that? I thought actors meet each other prior shoot and talk about do and don'ts. How much are you making to put up with that kind of abuse? When the lube is actually hand sanitizer. Nice username Jonesy. Your mom's shot comes straight across the room and killed my Siamese fighting fish, threw off the pH levels in the aquarium. Fuck you Riley, tell your mom to top off the credit card she gave me so I can go get some fucking KFC. April Fool's Day. It's customary to eat asparagus, onions, and broccoli on that day of filming every year. Gets the newbies every time. I know I shouldn't. But why? I am not a porn star, but I dislike it when I order a sandwich and it is mostly bread. I'm more perplexed how the username Max is only 210 days old. Most probably a Reddit employee. They can recycle deleted usernames unlike us normies. Retired sex worker, not a porn star though I've had a lot of offers. A bad day was when my client's pubes were way too long and would come into my mouth during oral. Shudders. Aren't you able to set hygienic standards at all? Like if I were doing that I'd say short crop or no shucking. Sounds like the tree was barely taller than the grass. When my sister gets pregnant, r/hol up. I know some people who have worked as crew. They all say the smell is pretty bad.